if there was a business that's considering hiring, maybe not outsourcing a whole system to the Philippines, but maybe hiring a couple of virtual assistants or a couple of individuals from the Philippines, what advice would you give them? Or what are the things that they should keep in mind as they test those waters?
If it's a very small team, I think it's like, if it's one or two people and you're a bootstrap startup, you can either work with people like us who are going to help you manage all that stuff, or if you really think you're going to have the bandwidth, and it can be a lot of bandwidth often, you can still look at things like Upwork, especially if it's a very specific niche skill set where you can test for it. But the problem with working with things like Upwork is it's a marketplace, and the person who's working for you today, somebody might offer them 5 cents an hour more, and they're off, and you'll never see them again. Whereas when you work with an outsourcing company, I think what you get is, that once we've been trained on a process, once we can consistently deliver that training again to whoever else we need to do, and that becomes our problem, not yours. I think people often also over think it and try and find like the 500 things which Filipinos may not be able to do the same way as somebody from some other country. I think it's when you actually break it down, it's not really true. Yes, you're going to hear a different accent. You have a Spanish accent or a Catalonian accent, probably I should, and I have a Scottish accent that's going to be kind of messed up from 15 years being away from home. People understand me fine, and they don't use that as a reason not to do business with me. So I think that there's something there about like having a customer service person or somebody with a slightly different accent and who uses different words. If you're a truly global business who believes in globalization, you shouldn't care about that stuff, and you should really be embracing it. Because, yeah.
100%. Last question, Ian, before I let you go. Really quickly, if you could go back to the time when you were thinking about starting Enshored or starting Enshored, what's the one piece of advice that you would like to give yourself, or that you wish you had known back then?
I don't have so much advice. I was thinking about this, but I think I should have been a little bit more optimistic. I think that in the first few years when you're not getting the results, I lost sight of the 20 years of professional success I'd had before, and I was sitting there like with a lot of self-doubt. When you do a startup, I think what happens is that you do a lot of your work, and it almost goes unnoticed anywhere else, but you've done the work, and sometimes you just got to be patient, and eventually the results will come. And I think that's what happened to us. 2015, 2016, 2017, the business didn't really explode, and it was really as we got into late 2017 into 2018 when finally, I think we got the return for the work we did in 2014, 2015. So patience, and it is difficult, right? Because it's one of two things: either you're being patient or you're being stupid. That for me, I think I knew that we just needed to be a little bit more patient, and I was, I was just, I was a little bit too pessimistic about that period.
That's interesting, because I relate to that. We're still on the early days, but I relate to that for sure, and it's encouraging to hear.